and we'll be aiming to win this year for the 3rd time in succession.
I'm Sally Gunnell from Essex Ladies. For the last 4 years we've won the GRE final, and we're going to win it again for the 5th time in a row.
Okay, girls, here we are. We've won it 4 years running. We can do it again. Let's go for it. Come on.
The GRE is athletics' version of football's FA Cup, with over 300 clubs from all over Britain taking part in a knockout competition spread over 4 months. For supporters and athletes, the final is one of the highlights of the season, as the top 8 clubs do battle for the Gold Cup for men and Jubilee Cup for women. The Gold Cup is the real power of club athletics. Haringay, the current holders and league champions. Wolverhampton and Bilston, a great name from the 70s, back again. Belgrave in their first ever final. Shaftesbury, former winners, as indeed are Birchfield Harriers. Some of Britain's top stars, like 400-metre record holder Derek Redmond of Birchfield, were gathered at Haringay's New River Stadium. Sprint star Jamie Henderson leading the Edinburgh party from their long coach journey from Scotland. Stuart Faulkner, Britain's most promising long jumper since the days of Lynn Davis. He'll be a key points winner for Birchfield. And John Regis of Belgrave, sampling a cup final for the first time. Cousin Cyril beat him to it at Wembley, of course. Haringay's Seb Coe, the man attracting a huge following of spectators and reporters.
And we join the action with the men's 400-metre hurdles. Martin Gillingham of Wolverhampton, the favourite on the inside. Andy Nelson, the 19-year-old for Haringay. Les Antoine of 3A's finalist for Birchfield. Stuart Dempster for Edinburgh Southern. Greg Dunstan of Shaftesbury. Irish international Nigel Keogh of Blackheath. Ian Bland of Belgrave Harriers. And Steve Harridge of Thames Valley. So Martin Gillingham, who competed in the 1984 Olympics, missed selection this time. He was 4th in the 3A's, but he should be the favourite here. Although Les Antoine, the 22-year-old from Birchfield Harriers in the black vest in lane 3, has made great improvement this year, a finalist in both the UK's and the 3A's. But that's Gillingham on the inside. And Antoine certainly going well up now. He's overtaken Dempster of Edinburgh Southern outside him. Greg Dunstan of Shaftesbury Harriers in the vertical black and white stripes. It's Antoine and Gillingham on the inside. Wolverhampton, who could either have had Max Robertson or Gillingham, got a strong hand here, particularly in the track events, and they will be looking to get off to a good start. Keogh of Blackheath there made a bad mistake, and Gillingham and Antoine outside him, pretty level. Andy Nelson running well for Haringay, also in lane 2. Oh, Gillingham made a mistake coming up that hurdle though, and Antoine is coming in strongly at the finish. They're absolutely level coming over the final hurdle. Gillingham and Antoine just gets up to Pip Gillingham, and Greg Dunstan of Shaftesbury in 3rd place, Andy Nelson of Haringay 4th. So a splendid result there. Birchfield Harriers will be absolutely delighted with Antoine's upset win there over Gillingham, their Midlands rivals. Now the hammer. Colours of Shaftesbury Harriers. Here's Mike Jones, who in the 3A's threw very well, but just short of the Olympic qualifying standard of 72 metres. And that throw is over 70, so a splendid start there for Jones to take the lead in the hammer competition with 70 metres 44, taking the lead from Matt Milam of Haringay. Mike Jones certainly would like to achieve that Olympic qualifying standard of 72 metres, which could yet mean a place for him in the team, a place that has been got by Matt Milam. But here we are in the 5th round. Milam still behind Jones. Oh, that's a tremendous throw, as you heard from the shout that he gave, and that is very good indeed for Milam. who hasn't yet achieved the Olympic qualifying standard yet in England. He achieved that in the USA in a small meeting over there at Stanford, through over 72 metres, and he's joining Dave Smiths on our Olympic team, and this throw gave him victory in the hammer competition at 71 metres 90. And it really is good to see Milam, who now lives in the USA, back here in action and getting close to his best form in the hammer and justifying therefore his Olympic selection. So Milam the winner for Haringay from Jones of Shaftesbury Harriers, and Peacock of Birchfield was third.
They're coming up to the final lap in the day's longest track event, the 10,000 metres, and the leader, number 6 there, Julian Gota, in the famous stripes of Shaftesbury. He is led for most of this race, now 35 Gota, and well ahead of the rest of the field, with Fleming of Wolverhampton and Bilston in second place at the moment. That's Chris Hall of Haringay third, and Alan Gilder of Blackheath Harriers in fourth place, number 3, all in black. But Gota, a man who won a bronze medal in the Commonwealth Games a few years ago, says that this is one of his favourite events in the sport. He always comes to represent his club here, and he has an unbelievable record. He's on his way to his 7th Cup final title over 10,000 metres, and he's also won twice over 5,000 metres. It's been a long, steady plod from the gun for him. And he's being cheered on from the stands here by a former world record holder in this event and a leading light of the Shaftesbury club, the great David Bedford. So once again, Julian Gota does the business on Cup final day, and more vital points for Shaftesbury Barnet. Victory for Gota then. And a second place will go to the Scottish international, Peter Fleming of Wolverhampton. And coming through for third, Haringay's Chris Hall, number 5 there in the red shorts. So in one of the day's early events, Shaftesbury get the expected points, and Julian Gota a winner yet again. The women's competition sees Stretford as the most successful ever. 15 finals they've been in and won 6 in a row. Sale Harriers in their 9th final. Cardiff, Hounslow in their 11th. They've also had 2 wins. Essex ladies have won the competition for the last 4 years. Birchfield and Glasgow completing the lineup. Sally Gunnell, the star of Essex ladies, she'll play a vital role, but still time to guide a couple of young supporters to their seats. Judy Oakes, one of the great stars, of course, of field events in this country. And who's that? Yes, the Olympic javelin champion, Tessa Sanderson. Could she really be rivaling her?
And also Paula Dunn here, the main hope for Stretford, and she lines up now in the women's 100 metres. In a race in which she's got 2 of her top British rivals, Wendy Hoyt running for Hounslow in the inside lane, Helen Miles of Cardiff, who joins Dunn in the Olympic lineup in lane 7. And Essex ladies have the southern champion, Karen Campbell, in lane 2. Look out also for Lynn Draper of Croydon in lane 5. Nearest the camera, Angela Turner of Birchfield. Then it's Miles in the blue and red of Cardiff. And then Paula Dunn next to her. Paula Dunn, much Britain's fastest sprinter for the last couple of years, already running very well indeed. So too is Miles. Look out for Hoyt on the inside. It's the power and speed of Paula Dunn coming through now, and Paula Dunn wins it. Wendy Hoyt is in second place, Helen Miles third, and Lynn Draper of Croydon got 4th place, and a very fast time indeed for Paula Dunn. The fastest she's ever run, in fact, 11.13, although the wind assistance is over the legal limit behind them, so it can't be counted for record purposes. But nonetheless, Paula Dunn is really showing very, very impressive sprinting, as she has done throughout the season. Arms, perhaps slightly unusual gait there, but a lot of power there, the knees coming up high, and Paula Dunn coming through to gain a very well-deserved victory for Stretford. And she'll be going later today also in the 200 metres. She's also long jumping, so she's really having a very full programme indeed. But here, good points for Stretford as Paula Dunn wins the 100 metres. Well, Paula's doing both 100 and 200 metres, but in the men's events, John Regis of Belgrave Harriers will be missing those distances.
Oh no, I'm doing the 400 today just to give our guy, a new guy called Lenny Paul, a chance to show what he's really made of in the 100 metres. I think really it boiled down to himself and Mike McFarlane, also with maybe Elliot Bunny in the frame. But like I said, I thought I'd give Lenny a chance to run a race, and I'll try 400 today.
Lenny Paul in lane 8 in this men's 100 metres, but it's really a tale, I suppose, of the young and the old. There's the young Jamie Henderson, the young Scotsman, world junior and European junior finalist, and Mick McFarlane on his way to his 3rd Olympic Games for Great Britain, and of course a member of the host club Haringay. And they're in adjoining lanes, and that'll be quite a battle for first place between those two. Henderson, the young Scot, off to a terrific start there. Second from the right, all in white. Mick McFarlane coming at him again here. Henderson holding on. He's recovered well from injury and just held on to beat Mike McFarlane, who has actually taken 7 victories in the years gone by in this GRE. So Mick McFarlane will be disappointed to have lost that one to the young Scot, who failed to make the World Junior final this year in Sudbury in Canada, and because of injury problems also failed to make it into Britain's team in the 100 metres. Jamie Henderson certainly one for the future. He made a very good start there. Obviously all the lost weeks of training have counted heavily on him, but he really did race well here. 3rd place, nearest to the camera, Dave Curtin of Thames Valley Harriers. Henderson the winner then, McFarlane in 2nd, and yes, Curtin just got 3rd place.
So at this stage in the Men's Gold Cup, Haringay in the lead with 27, Shaftesbury Barnet 3 points behind, then Birchfield Harriers, but obviously little in it at this stage.
Sally, you're not running the 400 hurdles, which is perhaps your best event. Why is that?
Well, really, I mean, I'm filling in the events where they haven't really got anyone else and I can do the event. But the girl we've actually got in the 400 hurdles, Sarah Dean, is very good, and I think she'll probably do just as well as I could, really.
And there she is, and what a role she's got to fill here. Because, of course, Sally Gunnell, the recent new British record in this event. And Sarah Dean will know that she's got to go some to just try and pick up the points that Sally almost certainly would have done. She's actually 3rd choice in her club, so it's a big occasion for the youngster. And also in this lineup here, another former #1 in the country, Yvette Ray, as she was, Yvette Luca, as she now is. 2nd from the left there in the white vest of Stretford, who, of course, come here with high hopes of lifting the ladies' competition. Simone Laidlaw, who will be a British Olympic representative in this event, in the middle of the picture there, in the white vest and blue shorts, already overtaken Sarah Dean on her outside. And indeed, Laidlaw now overtaking Yvette Luca. So Simone Laidlaw running here for the Borough of Hounslow Athletics Club, looking strong and untroubled, under no real pressure. And the rest of the field a long way behind. Lorraine Hanson of Birchfield Harriers, all in black, 2nd from the right there. Looks safe for the runners-up position, but an impressive race by Simone Laidlaw. She takes it. Hanson in 2nd place, and Yvette Luca, the former Yvette Ray, took 3rd. So that's important points then for Hounslow, and Sarah Dean, well, who could emulate Sally Gunnell?
And here's an unusual shot. Tessa Sanderson giving it her best. She usually throws the javelin. So, see what she's up to after the break.
There are 23 sports in the 88 Olympics. That was 23 sports in 9.99 seconds, the Olympic record for the 100-meter sprint. That was 23 sports in 19.80 seconds, the Olympic record for the 200-meter sprint. On Saturday, September the 17th, in real time, the Olympics are under starters' orders. Channel 4.
television set will be the way of taking part in the Olympics, I fear, for most of the athletes on view today. This, of course, club athletics, and these athletes can only dream, in many cases, of what it must be like to appear at the highest level of the sport. Although the leader here in this race was in the Olympic Games way back in 1976. That's Chris Whittingham, wearing number 5 there. She's now 31. And she's had a couple of spells out of the sport with serious injuries, but she's coming back, and coming back well this season. Mary Kitson, number 6 there, of Hounslow in 2nd place, but then Tonya Howland of Sale in the green vest and red shorts just moving through into 2nd place. But Whittingham really kicking on hard here. Her husband, Mike Whittingham, incidentally, is the coach to Chris Akabusi, who will carry our big medal hopes in Seoul in the 400 metres hurdles. Whittingham of Glasgow really gritting her teeth to hold on here. So Tonya Howland of Sale coming hard at her, beginning to tie up, and it's going to be some race to the finish this. Now, who is the stronger? Whittingham has led for the last 400 metres, but as the line approaches, it's Howland who just tips her. Howland wins it then, Whittingham in 2nd place, and Sue Bevan came through to take 3rd. A very good finish then, and Sale gets some more important points, thanks to Tonya Howland.
Here's the Essex Ladies team captain, Kim Hagger, in action in the high jump. Clear at 1.70 m. Kim Hagger, who had a hamstring injury back in May and has had to miss most of the summer competition. She has been selected for the Olympic heptathlon, so it's good to see her back in action, and she's got to get back to top form very quickly if she's going to compete with distinction. But there she was, 1.70, and she went on to clear 1.75, but it was left to Claire Summerfield of Birchfield to win the event with this clearance at 1.80 m. Claire, who won in 1981 and 1982 as well, back to winning ways, and that's valuable points for Birchfield as they narrow the gap slightly on Essex Ladies. So here's Claire Summerfield's successful clearance at 1.80 in the high jump, and that was good enough for victory.
You're doing the shot today and not the javelin. Why is that?
No. Well, I wanted a little change because I'm not throwing because of my injury just before the trials, and I have been told that I really can't do any throwing at all yet. And I wanted to come out and do something competitive, which I won't need to use my left leg so much, apart from just placing it down. And it's fun to compete for the club anyway, to be competing for a club.
I know your personal best at this is 13.41. What are you hoping for today?
Better that, but I don't think so. I haven't done the shot for a long time, but you know, I can only go in there, do my best. I see Judy Oakes is put in. Oh, let's see if I can get Judy. We have a good competition together. But no, she's such an outstanding athlete. I mean, you know, I just hope to go in there and finish a good position to gain some points for the club.
Well, here was Tessa in action. This wasn't her best, but she did gain valuable points for the club. She fouled that one, but 12.59, and she came 4th in the competition, and that was pretty good. Well, there's Judy Oakes as well. And Judy can give her a demonstration.
I mean, I put the javelin. You javelin tries a shot.
And Judy Oakes certainly did give a magnificent demonstration to all the other women shot putters. Well ahead of the competition, over 4 meters better than anyone else. Magnificent series, and once again, she was beyond 19 meters. The 4th time she's been at that level or beyond this year. This was her winning put, which landed at 19 meters 13. So a tremendous performance. Maximum points for Judy Oakes, 9 points for Croydon. She also went in the discus, hoping to get a double. The rest of the points, incidentally, 7 for second, down to 1 point for last. And the lead at present was 49 meters, and Judy took the lead with a throw that added about 1.5 meters to her best for the season, previously 51.70, and that throw 53 meters 44. So it took an early lead, but Vanessa Head of Cardiff, who really is very much Britain's #1 thrower, below her best in the trials when she was second to McKernan, but this time she was twice over the 55-meter level, and that throw of 55 meters 90, just 20 centimeters short of her season's best. So Vanessa Head will be hoping to gain a late selection for the Olympics, and she placed 7th in the discus at the Olympic Games in Los Angeles in 1984. And that was the women's performance, 55.90. So after 7 events, Essex ladies had a lead of 3 points, but it was very close indeed. Just a handful covering the next few clubs: Birchfield, Sale, Stretford and Hounslow. So a very fine competition in the Women's Jubilee Cup. On the long jump, Fred Saller in his first outdoor competition of the year for Shaftesbury Harriers. Second in the Commonwealth Games for England, but he's decided now to compete for Cameroons, and he's going to go and jump in the African Championships next week to ensure his place. But this was certainly a magnificent performance for a man who hasn't competed before. He's been working very hard indeed. And this was just a centimetre below his personal best, 7 metres 96, aided of course by quite a strong wind over on the far side of the arena. And it posed quite a challenge for Stuart Faulkner, 7.89. And with his very final jump, he had to produce a good one to win it, and indeed he did. Stuart Faulkner cleared 8 metres for the very first time in his life. It was measured at 8 metres 04. He, of course, is absolutely delighted. The wind was too strong to count as a record. It would have been his 8th British junior record. But nonetheless, for Stuart Faulkner, this took Birchfield Harriers into maximum points in the long jump as he won at 8.04 with Fred Saller of Shaftesbury second.
Haringay, as hosts and cup holders, have become the biggest club in British athletics, attracting many of our top international stars, like Seb Coe, who relishes the memories of big club occasions.
Oh, I think undoubtedly probably managing to get 8 members of my club into a Fiat Uno in Milan for the European Clubs Championships late one evening. I think on a more serious note, I have to go back 2 years to the European Clubs Championship that we staged down here in 1985 when we finished 3rd. And I ran the 8, the 15 and the 4x4. And we had a very creditable performance by the whole team and a very, very well organised meeting.
But Haringay's success isn't just about their established stars.
I'd say about half of our British League team has traditionally come through from our young athletes team. We've come from being the Wimbledon of athletics and probably better than that. 14 years ago I ran for the club when we weren't in the British League. We were in Division 5 of the Southern League. We've come through that. We've come through each division of the British League each year, and we did that on the basis of our youth policy with a very strong young athletes team.
It's very important for the youngsters coming through the club to be able to see world-class sprinters and middle-distance runners going through the hard graft of day-to-day training and knowing that there is nothing special about us. We have to work hard in order to run well, and that if they want to succeed in that area, then they're going to have to do exactly the same thing, and working with exactly the same coaches as well.
Well, as you can hear, Seb Coe is very much a committed clubman, and he doesn't want to let Haringay down. He badly wants to run here today, but he's had this problem. And he's just warming up now. John Hovell, Haringay official, and Phil Green, the team manager, waiting anxiously for Seb's verdict. The summer cold and the chest infection, which has stopped him running in the big international meetings this week, looks as though may take his toll again here. Seb really does want to run for Haringay, but he knows that it would be foolish to take an unnecessary risk in this situation.
Well, unfortunately, I really don't feel very well at the moment. I'm pretty sure it's still a legacy of what knocked me around a bit at the trials, and really I'm just waiting for a clear patch to be able to get in some racing, but at the moment I really don't feel that clever. It's very up and down at the moment.
So what are you hoping to do now for the rest of the season?
Well, you know, I was hoping to race. I'm very disappointed in not being able to race here today. But I hope to, I've still got Bern and the Grand Prix final in Berlin penciled in, and hopefully Rieti. But all that is very much up in the air at the moment. I really can't get into any hard work until I start feeling healthy again, and I can't say I've really felt that good in the last week or so.
So Seb had to watch the 800 metres, and at the bell it was Steve Hurd of Wolverhampton and Bilston who'd asked his team manager to allow him to run this event rather than the 400 metres he was originally going to do because he wanted a crack at Seb. Well, he couldn't do that today, but he ran from the gun, and behind him Stuart Payton of Belgrave Harriers and Paul Edwards of Birchfield, then Brian Murray of Edinburgh Southern and Pat Chester of Thames Valley, who ran a 4-minute mile during the week. Steve Hurd, who was 3rd in the 3As and 3rd in the UK Championships this year, So he will have been disappointed himself not to have made an Olympic slot, but such is the strength that we have at 800 metres that even a man as fast as he is, just outside 1:45 this year, couldn't make the team. Behind him, Stuart Payton, though, chasing hard. Payton, who took a 1.5 seconds off his personal best in the 3As, coming up to Hurd now. But Hurd's a very strong man, and he's not going to be gainsaying. And he's going to give Wolverhampton and Bilston maximum points in the 800 metres. Payton in second place, Pat Chester of Thames Valley coming up for third. And rather disappointing for the leading clubs, Shaftesbury, Joe Dunbar only 7th, and Peter Stubbs, who replaced Seb Coe, was last in 8th place. So only 1 point there for Haringay, and that means that they're only 4th in 36. Wolverhampton and Bilston leading at 41 from Shaftesbury Barnet 39 and Birchfield 37, so still very close.
Seb Coe not competing then, but still the centre of attention with the latest twist in the Olympic controversy, the intervention of the IOC president and his plea that Coe should be in Britain's team. More on that story after the break.
Now, the news has broken today about the president of the International Olympic Committee writing this letter asking the British selectors to reconsider. Put you in a difficult position, I presume.
Not really. I'm obviously honoured that the president of the IOC has decided to write a letter of such substance. Obviously, that was his decision. The British board, it's the job of the British board to react as they see fit.
Now, irrespective of selection policies, a lot of people are saying, well, an Olympic gold medalist should be given the chance to compete, irrespective of national team selections on. Do you think that's something that might happen in the future?
I think that it's always been the concern of the IOC that we have the traditions and the history of the Olympic Games, and we remember that, you know, there are champions around, and that it's always nice to see them competing. But that's something, and it's understandable that the IOC should be concerned that I'm sure they'll be giving that some consideration over the next 4 years up through to Barcelona.
Because it's, thinking of other sports, I mean, it would be ridiculous if Wimbledon didn't have more than, say, the top 3 Americans competing. So perhaps to have the top 10 or 20 in the world even at each event competing automatically perhaps in the Olympics, would that improve the Games?
I don't know. I think I mean, obviously I'm in a very difficult situation, and you can't genuinely expect me to comment on that at the moment. I think that there's no doubt the IOC will be looking at perhaps variations to selection procedures, but I'm sure that they won't be making any decisions in haste.
Well, of course, Haringay are fortunate that even with Seb Coe absent from their lineup today, they have some of Britain's best athletes. And there in the background, number 5, Tony Jarrett, the European junior champion in the high hurdles, and very much the expected winner in this lineup. A watch for Dave Nelson of Wolverhampton and Bilston in lane 7. Very good form this season. Just missed out on a place in the Olympic team when he placed 4th in the trials. There's no event in Great Britain that has undergone such a dramatic improvement in standards than this. Fine start by Jarrett, very quickly away, great stylist, 3rd from the left there, comes from just up the road in Tottenham, very much a Haringay club man, and the European junior champion being hunted by David Nelson in the red shorts, but Jarrett always in control of that race, and he wins it from David Nelson. 3rd place to Steve Buckeridge. So Tony Jarrett gets his expected victory, and Haringay continue to pile up the points here.
It was quite a strong win behind the hurdlers, and that may have pushed Jarrett onto them a little bit too quickly, which is why he hit 1 or 2. Quite a contrast in styles, though, between him and Leighton of Edinburgh on his left. See, as he comes up to the 3rd hurdle, he really hits that quite hard. Nonetheless, he's able to maintain his momentum, and this really is a very fine performance by the European junior champion in magnificent form. What a fine trio of hurdlers we've got in this country at present. So a magnificent run by Jarrett, also by Nelson, 13.65 in 2nd place. So Jarrett comes through to win, and this was Haringay's first win on the track. So how does their team manager, Phil Green, think things are doing?
Today, at present, not so well, but then we normally tend to get our best points in the later stage of the afternoon. the better events for us are late in the afternoon. So hopefully if we're there or thereabouts halfway through the afternoon, well, we won't be too bad.
Well, back in the ladies' competition, Sally Gunnell will play a vital role for Essex ladies in their bid to lift the trophy again. And here she is now in the 100 metres hurdles, the event in which she set the new United Kingdom record of 12.82 with that magnificent run in Zurich. Kay Morley of Cardiff, insider in lane 3. But Gunnell clearly the classiest competitor in this lineup. Quite a windy day here, and it's behind these hurdlers. Sally Gunnell looking smooth and strong. She really has looked strong this year and imposing herself straight away on the rest of the field. Morley in the blue top on her inside will take second place, but Sally Gunnell looking very easy and 13 seconds dead. The time she shaved so often during 1987 finally went under 13 seconds this year with that new United Kingdom record, and that was an effortless and very impressive victory for Sally Gunnell. Kay Morley second and Louise Fraser got third place. A brilliant performance by Sally. And a very windy day as well, as you can see.
And that'll make it particularly tough for runners in the 400 metres. Got to go all the way around the track, of course, and it's very, very strong, up to 9 metres per second on the back straight. But here's Diane Edwards, representing Britain in the 800 metres in the Olympics, running here for her club, Sale Harriers, in the 400. And a very strong lineup here. Gladys Bird for Essex on the inside, Suzanne Guise of Birchfield, Donna Fraser, the women's 3A's intermediate champion of Croydon, then Sheila Peake of Stretford, you can see going very well, coming up to Diane Edwards. Those are the first two at the moment, and Dawn Gandy, number 6 of Hounslow, in the outside. Diane Edwards so strong, she ran in Zurich just outside 2 minutes at 800 metres on Wednesday, and now stepping down to the 400 metres, an event that she won for her club in last year's cup final. Sheila Peake, the Northern Inter-Counties champion, pressing her. Diane Edwards is in the lead, but the runners in the first 5 lanes are all really going very well indeed. Suzanne Guise of Birchfield in lane 2 coming up hard. The tall figure of Donna Fraser of Croydon going in, but Diane Edwards has got the strength. She's coming through to win this race. Suzanne Guise in second place, Sheila Peake third, and that was a very useful run indeed for Diane Edwards. Top 800-metre runner, of course, needs the speed also at 400 metres. So maximum points there for Sale Harriers in what was really a blanket finish. The runners really getting rather tired here at the end, but it's Edwards who comes through. Peake for Stretford, getting good points for them in third place, just ahead of Donna Fraser.
Kim, you're the Essex Ladies captain, but for the first time today, Essex Ladies have slipped behind Sale and Stretford. 4 events to go. How do you feel about it?
It's obviously going to be very close, and I'm sure everything's going to be down to the last event. Sally Gunnell is actually going to run in 3 of the 4 remaining events, so I'm sure she's going to bring us some good points there, and I can see it all being down to the 4x4 relay.
Well, there it is, Essex Ladies, for whom Gladys Bird was 6th in the 400, and now a little bit behind in 59 points. Sale Harriers, Diane Edwards got the maximum point, 65, ahead of Stretford.
The men's 400 metres, and what an unusual name in the lineup. John Regis, world bronze medalist and United Kingdom record holder over 200 metres, facing a whole lap of the track for the first time in his career. He's actually run for his club Belgrave in relays before, but he's never done the individual event, and he has admitted that he's really dreading it. Regis, the 21-year-old. A lot of people in the sport think that he has a real future in this event, despite the fact that he doesn't really fancy competing in it at all. And what a start he's made there in that dramatic yellow and maroon outfit, watched by Derek Redmond. He'll be hoping there's enough competition in his event without John Regis putting in a good performance here. But he'll be very interested, as indeed the whole of athletics will be, to see how well he does here, and he is doing extraordinarily well. The first 200 metres, he really has decimated the rest of the field. Looking very smooth, but this is where it'll start to hurt now. This is where he's in new territory for him, but look at the gap over the rest of the athletes behind him. Kermit Bentham, Steve Thomas trailing in his wake, as indeed the rest are as well. It's going to be a good time as well in these windy conditions. 46.58. Well, well, he may not fancy the event, but the event could be right for him. Steve Thomas was second, incidentally, and Kermit Bentham third. And that's a very revealing performance, I think, by John Regis. He would certainly have a future if he wanted it, over 400. The men's 1,500 metres, and they move into the back straight for the final time. Paul Larkins in the lead there, number 8. A man who we expected to figure in contention for Olympic places in the trials, but he was ill in the week preceding the trials, and that really ruined his prospects. Chris McGeorge of Blackheath Harriers in second place there, number 5, and then Nick Smith of Shaftesbury moving through to third in the black and white stripes. Larkins having his first race in 6 weeks because of those problems. Man who spends much of his time in the United States and also in Finland. He was preparing for the trials, and then illness prevented him from doing so, and that illness is still taking its toll clearly here. Chris McGeorge, a very strong finish, and look at Nick Smith on the inside. A real photo finish there between those two, with the experienced Chris McGeorge stealing up on the line and just possibly taking it, but it really was close with Nick Smith of Shaftesbury on his inside, and a fading Paul Larkins back in third place. Well, Chris McGeorge has been around a long time and suffered, as indeed so many fine 1,500-metre runners have in this country, by the absolute wealth of talent we have. In many other countries, he'd probably be an automatic choice for their Olympic team. So too, certainly, with Paul Larkins, but we have such a depth of talent over 3 3/4 laps. Larkins there in third place, tiring clearly, and then a desperate battle to the line, and for my money, McGeorge just making it over Nick Smith.
So good points there for Shaftesbury. Nick Smith in second place takes them into the lead with 68 from Wolverhampton Bilston, 64, and Haringay losing ground there, third at 62. Now back in the women's event, here's Bev Kinch in the first round of the long jump. She's been below par at this event. She's still the British record holder 5 years ago, but 6:39 was her best this year. Before this splendid performance of 6:54, over the Olympic qualifying standard of 6:50, but there's a strong wind behind. So that gave a challenge to Mary Barclay, but she was able to respond to that. Mary, who's in the British team, and this jump of 6:55 was 1 centimetre ahead of Kinch. So she won the event and Kinch was second. And very interesting to see in third place, Paula Dunn, competing with Stretford. She's already won the 100 metres. A little bit rusty on her long jumping, but great spring there. And with 6:07, that's the farthest she's ever jumped, and third place for Paula. Well, a busy afternoon for her, because she also competed in the 200 metres.
Well, Paula Dunn and her coach Jim Harris really have got things right this year, and she's in much more confident and much more impressive form than at any stage of her career. And much could be said along the same lines about that lady, Sally Gunnell, that we just caught sight of there, running in lane 8 in her second event. We've already seen her winning the 100 metres hurdles, and now she attempts the 200 metres, but clearly Paula Dunn, running in lane 2 for Stretford, will be the favourite. Rachel Kirby outside there, an outstanding young sprinter. And the all-rounder Sally Gunnell poised for action again. Watch for Dunn, second from the right, in the white vest and blue shorts. Good start made by Suzanne Guise of Birchfield in lane 6. And Sally Gunnell looking strong as ever, but Paula Dunn there on the inside has the lead. Sally Gunnell on the opposite side of the track, closing on her. It's been a good race, and Paula Dunn having to run to her best to hold on for victory. Gunnell was second, Lynn Draper came through to take third place. 23:08, and Paula Dunn really enjoyed that victory, and she loves the atmosphere of this whole day.
And 24 points for Dunn have contributed to Stretford leading at 75. Sally Gunnell's 23:40 time kept Essex in touch, their second equal with Sale Harriers on 71.
Paula, very close race there in the 200.
Yeah, very close indeed. I've had quite a busy day, so I'm just quite pleased to beat Sally, because she's really the person in form at the moment, going very well at the moment, so just nice to beat her.
And that means that you've had 2 firsts and a third today.
Yeah, it's not been a bad day, really. I came here not expecting too much. I had a slight injury, and I've just been doing a lot of training on the grass and just trying to get general fitness back, so it's nice. It's been a good day. I'm quite pleased with it.
Well, the pennant and the trophies is what this day is all about. Who'll win them? You will see soon after the break. trophies lie in wait then. Which will be the successful teams to lift them at the end of the day? Well, every event is so important in the points gathering process, and in this men's 200 metres, Marcus Adam of Belgrave Harriers, who runs in lane 6, will be carrying their main hopes. Adam, the European junior champion, but he had a bit of a bad weekend in the trials and hasn't made it into the Olympic team, but a very good start made by him here, and all in white there in the middle from Haringay is Darren Braithwaite. But Adam third from the left in the maroon Belgrave kit, going very well here, under pressure from Braithwaite, and also the fast closing Scotsman David Clark, who just got through to take second. But Marcus Adam, the winner in 21.01, Clark was second and Braithwaite third. So Belgrave have a very useful second string, you could call it, because of course John Regis would be the man who would normally run this event, but he chose to do the 400 metres instead. Marcus Adam third from the left, very quickly reducing the stagger on the man immediately outside him, David Curtin. But the Scotsman just out of the picture, David Clark there in the white vest and blue shorts from Edinburgh Southern Harriers, running well. Braithwaite of Haringay in the centre, ran a consistent race right through, but just tired as the line approached, allowing Clark, the former professional sprinter, to take a good second place behind Marcus Adam. Win for Belgrave then.
Floyd Manderson of Wolverhampton and Bilston has already matched his personal best at 2 metres 20 in the high jump. On a beautiful clearance at 2 metres 25, and that's the Olympic qualifying height. Only 2 men selected. That could well take him to Seoul, and he's just realising it. And also Dalton Grant. He too cleared 2:25 for Haringay. Here's his first attempt at a British record, 2 metres 30. Well, he keeps attempting that almost in every competition, and he's sure to get it one day, but not that time. And here's Keith Stock, only entering the pole vault after everyone else had been eliminated, causing his team manager extreme concern.
Always in. It's always in.
Team managers nightmare, pole vaulters.
Oh, especially this one. He's been good in the past couple of years. I won't mind it. Oh, dear. The rain starts now, we're in trouble.
It's giving you a few headaches.
Sorry?
It's giving you a few headaches.
He always causes headaches. This fellow has been threatened more times with being hung from the stand by other athletes than anybody else I know. I love him, really.
There he goes then at 5 metres 20 on his second attempt. And he does it, the British record holder. British record back in 1981 at 5:65. And he's won the pole vault for Haringay. A second win in succession in the field events, and Phil Green is obviously extremely pleased at that performance. And another Haringay man in magnificent form, John Herbert, won the triple jump, his 7th GRE Gold Cup victory. He will represent Britain in this event, of course, in the Olympic Games. He was beyond 17 metres in the recent 3A's championships. This time, 16:59, a clear victory for Herbert. But then the rain really did come down. And how? Look at that scene. The high jump was still in action. Poor old Dalton Grant had to cope with this. Well, it really was never on, but he's absolutely determined he's going to get 2 metres 30, 7 foot 6.5 inches, and the high jump as quickly as he can. But it wasn't to be. Splashed out. But nonetheless, he won the high jump at 2:25. Manderson also 2:25. Former British League Cup secretary Peter Lenton with the horn and the javelin. He's not enjoying things out there very much. But fortunately, the rain did subside, and we were able to continue with the events all right. And here's Mark Robeson, a little disappointed not to be going to Seoul, third in the 3A's championships, but he won the javelin by a very big margin with this throw of 77 metres 56 from Bevan of Belgrave, who was second at 69.98, and Shafter is Paul Morgan in third.
Alan Wells, the 1980 Olympic 100 metres champion, part of an extremely strong quartet for Edinburgh Southern Harriers in the 4x100 metres relay. Mickey Morris, the captain of Haringay, and a man who prized himself on the fact that Haringay have never lost the 4x100 metres in one of these cup finals. There's the full lineup, and Haringay go into this race knowing that if they can win this race, they would be assured of the Gold Cup once again. But what a quartet they face here. Not just Alan Wells, Jamie Henderson, Dave Clark and Elliot Bunny in the Edinburgh Southern lineup. It's really almost like a Scottish national team here, and Haringay will have to be at their very, very best to win it. Mickey Morris, a brilliant captain's leg in the first leg there, as we see the changeover from Wells to Clark. But still, with Tony Jarrett now holding the baton, Haringay going extremely well. The Scots are really making inroads as Jamie Henderson takes over the third leg for them. A terrific race, this. Henderson and McFarlane now for Haringay, and he hands on the battle to Braithwaite, and the Scots with Elliot Bunny on the final leg. The crowd really excited. What a finish this is going to be here, and Haringay win it. Edinburgh Southern second, and John Regis anchoring Belgrave into third place. Well, that was every bit as good as we expected. The winning time, 39.87. And Haringay, knowing that they have clinched the cup now, and the celebrations will start here. What a terrific race it was. Mickey Morris there, the captain, who's standing down, incidentally, and won't be captain any longer, handing on to great young sprinters like this boy. But Morris ran a captain's leg, and so did Mickey McFarlane there. Go, go, he said.
Terrific run by this Haringay quartet. They're so talented because they're up against really good opposition here in the Edinburgh squads, and also Belgrave. John Regis finishing there, although his team were in fact disqualified, losing them points. Maximum points once again there for Haringay, who really ended with a bang on these last few events here. 4 field event victories, then that one, and with 117 points they cannot be caught. Shaftesbury also sure to be second, and Wolves third, with just the 4x400 metres relay left.
Well, the leading positions may have been sorted out, but pride is still very much at stake here in this men's 4x400 metre relay, the final track event in the Gold Cup competition. We've just seen the first leg, and Birchfield Harriers in the black here with a very strong lineup, despite the fact that Derek Redmond is sitting in the stands watching, suffering a bit of a reaction to his run in Brussels on Friday night. And Phil Brown also, who they would normally call upon, isn't in the team. Haringay here also have a strong lineup. Ricky Daniel running the second leg for them. Les Antoine, the second leg for Birchfield Harriers. Shaftesbury also in the picture, and Belgrave.
Fine run here by Ricky Daniel. Just coming up, Birchfield and Haringay have seen neck and neck, quite a contrast here. Steve Thomas will take over for Birchfield, and Paul Malcolm for Haringay. Interesting, Jamie Henderson ran a 400-metre relay leg for Edinburgh Southern, though they're well back out of it at the moment. Birchfield and Haringay, then Belgrave and Shaftesbury.
And the crowd is ever really enjoying this contest, because although, as we say, Haringay are confirmed as cup holders for the second successive year, they almost had a trip and lost points there, which wouldn't have mattered in the final outcome. But with all the spectators, coaches, officials, mums and dads and relatives watching in the stand, everybody wants to really lay it on in this final event. Club athletics at its finest here, and many of these guys may never be seen on your television screens again, but this is their moment of glory. And Birchfield with a big lead as Mark Thomas takes over for the final leg for them.
We just saw a magnificent run by Elliot Bunny. He really took Edinburgh Southern up into good points and good place, and Dave Clark's taken over. But that's somewhere back. There's Dave Clark, who ran so well also in the 200 metres, now up into third place after Bunny's magnificent run. Belgrave then in fourth, Wolverhampton and Bilston behind them. Shaftesbury next, but up front, it's the big two, Birchfield and Haringay. Mark Thomas leading ahead of Gary Cadogan.
Well, Haringay would very much like to round off their victory in the Gold Cup in style by taking the full points here in this 400 relay, but Birchfield, Mark Thomas is holding on under pressure from Gary Cadogan, and Birchfield win the relay. Haringay takes second place, and Steve Hurd bringing Wolverhampton and Bilston home in third. Very competitive race then. One or two surprise names in there, like Elliot Bunny, as Peter mentioned, that you wouldn't have expected to be seen in this event, and Jamie Henderson there in the background, but it all came out well in the wash, and it was a very good race indeed. And victory for Birchfield Harriers, to the huge delight of the watching Derek Redmond, I'm sure, in the stand.
But Haringay completed the league and cup double, their third successive win and 6th in 10 years in the cup. They were followed by 3 previous winners, Shaftesbury-Barnet Harriers, Wolverhampton and Bilston, and Birchfield.
The Gold Cup decided then, but the Jubilee Cup, the women's trophy, still wide open. Stretford in a strong position, Essex Ladies chasing them hard, and both of them knowing that they can't afford any slips in this 4x100 metres relay. Essex Ladies in lane 3 here, Stretford in lane 5. Stretford, who have Paula Dunn to run the anchor leg for them. Hounslow also with a very strong lineup. Their lead leg runner here, Bev Kinch. And the crowd getting very much involved in the excitement of this 4x100 metres. Essex Ladies going well there. But Stretford in the middle, with Paula Dunn still to come, as Sally Gunnell affected that changeover very neatly for Essex Ladies, who are in the first 3. On the outside, Hounslow as well, and nearest to the camera now, Paula Dunn takes over the baton for Stretford. On the inside, Hounslow, but Paula Dunn will bring Stretford victory. Just held off Eleanor Cohen, who ran a very good anchor leg for Hounslow, and Essex Ladies were in 3rd. So that really will gee Stretford's hopes. And very important win for them. And could Essex Ladies be losing their grip on the title, I wonder? The Stretford team know they can't afford to celebrate yet, Peter, but they're edging ever closer now.
Well, it was a magnificent run because Hounslow, with Kinch, Thomas, Hoyt and Cohen, all internationals, must have been favourite here. Wendy Hoyt ran a good 3rd leg for Hounslow, but here Paula Dunn absolutely streaks past Eleanor Cohen to take Stretford to victory. And what a day Paula Dunn has had. A double at the 100 and 200, 3rd in the long jump. And that means that with just 1 event to go, Stretford have a 7-point lead over Essex Ladies and just need to finish in the top 6 in the final event, the 4x400 metres relay, to be sure of winning the Jubilee Cup.
Well, at this point in time, we appear to be in the lead. We're not sure, actually, of the number of points we are in the lead. If it's 4 or 5, well, we're looking to our girls in the 4x4 squad just to stick themselves in the middle of the field, and that should do it for us, hopefully.
You're very confident?
I'm not confident, but I believe that when we hear the final score, when all the scores have been checked, but we're feeling pretty happy, irrespective of where they come. They've run out of their spin today, and we're delighted with them.
And Essex Ladies had to force Sally Gunnell into action yet again.
You're running off? So they could only go somewhere else.
No. Go long, because then you know how much you have to run. Stretford are doing really badly, you might have to run quite hard. And if they're 2nd or 3rd or 4th or whatever, they can't beat them. You might as well at least run. Sadie, be careful.
What about?
This is a problem today. She'll be right.
Well, I think team manager Alf wasn't quite sure of the tactics there, but Kim and Sally worked it out between them. And now Essex Ladies know that all depends on this final event if they're to hold on to their trophy. The 4x400 metres, Cardiff are in lane 1, Croydon in 2, Sale in lane 3, Birchfield in lane 4, Glasgow go in 5, Hounslow are in lane 6, Essex Ladies, all in black there, 2nd from the left in lane 7, and a good start made here by Stretford in lane 8.
Certainly these teams very closely matched. There may well be little in it on the looking at the squads that have been declared for this event, but of course team spirit comes into it so much here. Fine run by Rachel Kirby on the on the first leg for Hounslow, and here is Susan Briggs for Stretford.
Briggs has run a very strong leg here, and Stretford, all their team, the supporters and officials have come down to trackside knowing that this is the event upon which everything depends. And a fine first leg, but Essex Ladies also have a very strong lineup here. And although some of the spectators can't stand the tension of it all, the athletes were really rising to this occasion and enjoying the atmosphere. Some spectators certainly can stand the tension. Gladys Bird in front now for Essex Ladies.
Yes, well, Gladys ran in the 1976 Olympics, and at the age of 35, she's now a veteran in women's class, but certainly not running like it. Opening up a good lead ahead of Mary Kitson running for Hounslow. And Stretford are going all right, though. They're in 5th place, just tucked in. We can see Sale Harriers in 4th place on the right. So Stretford are doing all they need to. But certainly a very fine run by a great servant of Essex ladies over the years, Gladys Bird. Mary Kitson for Hounslow in 2nd place.
Remember the situation. Essex ladies have to win this 4x400 metres to hold on to their trophy. Sarah Dean takes over the 3rd leg for them. A young lady who had the unenviable task of filling in for Sally Gunnell in the 400 hurdles earlier. Dawn Gandy of Hounslow coming up to her shoulder now. Birchfield still looking strong, and Paula Dunn amongst those really urging on the Stretford team. Stretford only needing to finish, remember, in the top 6 to be sure of taking the trophy.
And they're there at the moment, though some way back, as Dawn Gandy stretches out the lead for Hounslow, and Lorraine Hanson of Birchfield Harriers has closed a big gap to come up onto Sarah Dean's shoulder. So it's Hounslow, then Essex ladies, then Birchfield, then a gap to Sale and Stretford. They're okay, they're in 5th place at the moment, and a very, very big gap behind them, so it looks like they're all right. But a big lead now as Dawn Gandy passes on to her twin, Simone Laidlow, and Sally Gunnell takes over for Essex ladies, but some 12 to 15 metres down.
So what a way to end what's been an eventful couple of weeks anyway here for Sally Gunnell, because she's taken 2 new British records in the 100-metre hurdles and the 400 metres hurdles. She's had a very busy day here, and now she knows that if Essex are to have any hope of holding on to their trophy, she's got to win here. Still a big gap between her and Simone Laidlaw as the battle for the other places goes on behind them. Laidlaw into the final bend then with the lead. Can Sally Gunnell perform the miracle and bring Essex ladies through? She is looking so strong, a beautifully controlled and judged race. Has she got the speed now over the final 50 metres? It looks as though she has. And it's a brilliant run. Sally Gunnell looked magnificent, and Essex ladies do win the 4x400, but the significant thing is where Stretford are, and they're 5th. So despite that marvellous effort by Sally and the rest, Essex ladies have lost it to Stretford.
Fabulous. Great. What a team, eh?
So the final women's result. Stretford, who had slipped recently, regained the cup they had won in 6 successive years, 1976 to 81. Essex ladies, 4 times champions, were 2nd, and Sale Harriers were 3rd, just ahead of Birchfield and Hounslow.
And that's what all the fuss is about, and Roger Simon, promotions officer of the British League, hands over the trophy, and Stretford are the cup winners.
Julie, your 14th cup final.
It is. I've competed in all 14. The teams worked very hard today. They've all performed well, and we won it again.
And the Gold Cup to Haringay. They've become really the Liverpool of track and field. Double winners, reigning league champions, already reigning cup holders, and they have their own way of celebrating straight out of the American Marines. The cheerleader, Nicky McFarlane.
Haringay's made of gold. Haringay's made of gold. Running here and running there. Running here and running there. Yeah, Haringay's everywhere. Haringay's everywhere. Sound off. Sound off. Haringay. Haringay. Sound off. Sound off. Haringay. Haringay.
Well, that's a new way of celebrating, but this is an old athletics tradition, and the team manager, Phil Green, knew, Viking headgear or not, that he would end up in the drink if Haringay won, and that's exactly where he went. Congratulations, though, to Haringay and Stretford, and the celebrations start here.